Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my monthly review for this month's issue of the Walking Dead comic book series. This is for issue 168. It's called The Road's End. And spoiler warning if you guys have not read this month's issue of the Walking Dead comic book series yet. So it hit yesterday, Walking Dead issue 168, The Road's End. And I was pretty excited for this one because the cover for this one is awesome. Really cool. This is the one where you've got Negan on the cover and then you've got all the saviors and they're kind of kneeling to him again. The current saviors, what's left of the original saviors, which is not too many of the prominent ones. Most of the prominent ones, for the most part, have been kind of killed off. And what you have left are kind of the remains led by Jon at this time because, of course, as the Saviors find out in this issue, Sherry has been, spoiler warning, killed by Rick in self-defense. And it seems to me that they mostly believe it. You know, I was thinking that a lot of them probably would not believe that that Rick would, you know, it would have been in self-defense. It would have been something where Rick would have been protecting himself and Sherry attacked him. But, you know, them knowing Sherry as well, and Negan kind of sums it up pretty good in this one when he gives his speech, which is really cool, where he just basically compares Sherry to a hammer and she's just looking for problems, and if she doesn't have one, then she'll create one to, you know, all you have is a hammer, then, you know, all you need are some nails and you're just, you know, hammering things like, you know, trying to just basically create problems, and that's just kind of the way Sherry is. And I think that makes a lot of sense for her to kind of attack Rick and the things that she did, which really were unfounded, I want to say, because as Negan points out to them, the Saviors, that really, you know, they're helping each other. You know, it's free trade. They're helping each other. You know, if one group doesn't have food or whatever, the other can give it to them. If one group can cast bullets, then they can kind of share them around, and it just benefits everybody for them to all work together, which Negan kind of explains to Jon and some of the others in this one in a lot more colorful language. So we start the issue off, and we've got everyone leaving Andrea's funeral, so you've got kind of picking up after that left off. Probably the saddest issue of The Walking Dead ever, 167. Very sad. Like I said, spoiler warning, to see the death of Andrea and to see the funeral and everything like that. And they come back to that at the end of this issue. You've got the survivors fixing up Alexandria after the events of the Whisperer War and just everything that happened afterwards with the herd coming through. So they're fixing up the gate, they're fixing up the inside and everything, and you know, digging some graves and all that. Kind of dark as far as the graves go and all that kind of stuff, but picking up from, you know, what happened earlier, we've got Jon who wants to know where Sherry is. So then Rick tells Jon, or lets him know after a bit, that they don't want to make an enemy out of the survivors, and then Rick eventually does tell Jon that Sherry is in fact dead. Rick explains it was an accident, and it seems like Jon's not really buying it. That's when Negan steps in. Let me handle this. Really cool. So then Negan says, you're alive because of the back-breaking work of two people. One of them is, of course, Negan, and the other is Rick MotherFing Grimes. That was cool. That was really cool. Because I've heard people, you know, call him that for the TV series and stuff in comments on YouTube, or, you know, I've seen like YouTube channel names, Rick MotherFing Grimes. It was cool to see Negan call him that. And then he gives us a pretty good speech, and he basically tells them that, you know, he understands that they're all emotional right now. They're all upset, and they have every right to be because of what happened with Sherry. And he says, to rival Lucille herself, God rest her wooden soul. So that was funny. I like that one. And then we've got Mark, who, you know, Negan, like, asks everybody, you know, do you want to go back to the way things were before? And, you know, he kind of wants them to answer no, right? Like, he wants to say, well, no, we don't, because I was awful, with Negan leading the charge. And then Mark goes for it. Mark doesn't realize what Negan's trying to do. He's trying to say, like, no, you don't want things the way they were before. You want things to get better, and they've gotten better, and they're going to continue to get better so long as you do your part. Mark misunderstands Negan, and he kneels anyway. That he wants things to go back. Maybe because of conditioning, because Negan burned his face and everything. And it's kind of funny when Negan tells Jon to watch out for Mark because he might damn well kill himself or something. And he starts crying and everything like that. So that was a really funny part with Mark, and I felt kind of sorry for him. But you can understand, you know, just for all the pain he went through and everything, that you know, it's like Stockholm syndrome kind of for Negan. Like he feels subservient to Negan because of Negan burning his face. with the iron and everything. Negan compares Sherry to a hammer. So like I said, comparing it to a hammer, and all her looking for is nails just to go after and to do what she does. A lot different from the TV series version of Sherry. We'll see if in the TV series they end up kind of having Sherry become the similar kind of character, because right now she certainly doesn't seem like that same kind of character as she was from the comic book series. Then he says, so then it's Negan lets them know it is about them helping each other. It's not about control. It's not about keeping them down. It's about everybody working together for their own, benefit. And the Saviors turn around and leave, which was really cool, because it's kind of like Negan talked them down and diffused a situation where Rick might have been, maybe even killed if they were too trigger happy, that type of deal. And it was really cool because at a moment there in the middle, it kind of looked like Negan was trying to take back his power. But then you realize afterwards that's not exactly what he's trying to do. And Rick kind of lets him continue when Dwight's like, oh, we're not going to let this continue, because at this point, Negan has saved Rick's life a couple times, and he did take out Alpha, which even still is a huge... I still want to say that's a huge thing from what happened in the Whisperer War, because when you take out a group's leader, even if they become a martyr and the group wants vengeance for that, still you got to think that that's going to affect their own confidence in the battle. Like, that's going to affect their belief in being able to win that war when their lead dog, so to speak, their leader, was killed off, assassinated as part of it. It really is going to, make the others lose confidence, I want to say, in their side of things. So Negan really helped out a lot there recently, and I really love what Kirkman's done with Negan overall, because he's just so funny and everything. And issues like this without him probably wouldn't be nearly as fun. So the Saviors turn and leave. Jesus talks about finding Gabriel, or what was left of him. Carl says goodnight, and then Rick goes outside to sleep on Andrea's grave in a very, even like takes off his prosthetics and stuff like that. Maybe like sleepwalking or this kind of thing, like in a hysterical or in a delusioned kind of out there type of state where he just kind of goes out and lays down in her grave with her. So that's a really sad ending to the issue. But it was really cool in the issue to see Negan kind of diffuse the whole situation with the Saviors, take charge, and help Rick out. It almost feels like Negan is becoming one of Rick's right-hand men, as weird as that is to say, especially if you look at the TV series and where they're at now. But, I mean, I've really been enjoying that, because I love to read Negan all the time. He makes issues like this even better than they may have already been. We haven't had a lot of comedy throughout the Walking Dead at all, and I really like Negan's form of comedy, because it's very dark and it's very fitting for that world. Negan's comedy fits for a zombie apocalypse, whereas certain types of comedy wouldn't work in The Walking Dead. Negan certainly does, because it's like this very dark black comedy, very, most of the time in bad taste, and that's kind of just who he is, right? So the ending really sad with, it going back to Andrea with Rick sleeping there, and we'll have to see what happens with Rick in the near future. He's probably going to need a lot of help, because after losing, Andrea and everything, he's going to be going through a lot. Maybe we'll see something along the lines of the TV series where he was kind of seeing things and, the phone, that kind of thing. That'd be cool if they did the phone thing again. I know some people might think it's repetitive to see, Rick pick up the phone, but I don't know, something like that. Or maybe have him look at the phone and be like, oh, no, never mind. Or the phone ring and then him be like, oh, not this again. Or something like that would be kind of cool. So we'll see what happens with that in the near future. And it was a pretty solid issue. There was no action or anything like that, but it was still really good, and it was cool to see Negan do his thing. So I'm going to give this issue a 9.1 out of 10. Really liked it a lot. It was sad at the end, it was fun in the middle, and it was kind of cool to see. I felt like it spotlighted these Saviors a little bit more, and it gave them a little bit more depth than maybe they had. Like a lot of these Saviors, like Mark, for example, is a character I haven't really thought about recently, until this part with Negan. Jon is another one who I guess now he's going to lead the Saviors, but we don't really know, what he's going to do, what's going to happen with him. If he's going to be able to let it go with what happened with Sherry or not. So some really good stuff in this one. I did enjoy it, and some pretty good setup. We'll have to see where it goes from here now that the Saviors kind of attack, so to speak, after the Whisperer War conflict is over. And I would think that they'll be on pretty good terms again now, because Rick did kill Sherry, and they didn't attack them afterwards, which was really good, because you'd expect them to have, even though they didn't help in the war prior. So let me know what you guys thought about the issue. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a thumb up below for the video, and leave a comment below on how you guys felt about the issue. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great summer. So thumb up the video, share, favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe for all the videos over the course of the summer, and of course into Season 8 when we get closer to The Walking Dead Season 8 premiere. If you guys haven't been caught up with Fear, definitely would suggest get caught up with Fear. Lots of videos this week for Fear. Fear has kind of been incredible this Season 3 start. So for this video, see you guys again soon for another. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.
You better subscribe.